Okay. Hey, Ryan. Welcome to DC. Um, when this all came about, what were your conversations with Washington like? And knowing maybe Ron Rivera from afar, can you just talk to us about your initial thoughts on coming to the Washington football team?
Sure. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having me here. I think, Coach Rivera's got a great reputation around the league from other coaches and from a lot of the guys that he's uh, has coached, and just from being on so many different teams and so many different organizations, uh, and knowing guys around the league. I had a ton of great conversations about him, the respect level that he has from his peers and from his players, and just the way that he goes about his business. So I'm really excited and looking forward to, getting to work with him. And I think this team, it's a young team, and making the push last year and making the playoffs. I think there's a lot of excitement. I think everybody thinks it's headed in the right direction, and I'm just happy to be here and be a part of it.
Hey, Ryan, it's Darren Haynes from WSA 9. Pleasure to meet you. Welcome to Washington, D.C. I wanted to know, you've been around so many teams in your career, and you're now getting to an older age. What do you want to get out of this season and now with another team? What do you want to get out of it for yourself and prove to these Washington, D.C. fans?
Well, I just love playing football. I love being out there, and um, after this last season, it's just the climb that I've made in my career. I mean, I'm playing better right now than I've ever played in my career, and I just feel like I've got a lot of great football ahead of me, which sounds crazy, but being 38 years old and uh, figuring some things out about myself, I love football. I love the competition. I love the camaraderie. I love, working together as a team for a common goal. And those are just things that I don't know where else I would find that. And so, after last season, sitting down with my wife and just saying, look, I think I'm playing better than I ever have. And I still love playing this game. And she just looked at me and said, you'd be crazy not to keep playing. So, that's a lot of the reason why I still do it. And, side note from that, just having 7 little kids that are able to kind of experience this with me and see what dad does for a living. That's a lot of fun for me too.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, Scott Abraham, ABC7. Welcome to Washington, D.C. We've heard all about Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic this, Fitzmagic that. How do you define Fitzmagic?
If you had to define it in a picture, I think you'd take the one with Deshaun's jewelry. I think that's really when it took off. But I tell you, I just think there's times in games where I just get excited, and I try to play with passion. I try to make sure that rubs off on my teammates. And if you talk to a lot of my former teammates, I think they would tell you that they enjoy playing with me. But for me, it's real. It's who I am, and I just try to bring guys around me up, and that's what I've tried to do for the majority of my career.
And I have a fun follow-up for you, and I'm kind of serious when I ask this, but I'm sure the whole world wants to know, what are your keys to success to maintaining such a magnificent beard?
Uh, you know, I found the right barber. I think that's number one. It's going to be tough moving away from him in Tampa. Shout out to Ali. And other than that, got to run a comb through it every morning. I don't really brush my hair, but I do have to brush my beard. So uh, that's about it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, Sam Fortier with the Washington Post. Welcome to DC. I wonder what some of those things that you mentioned earlier that you'd figured out about yourself to kind of maybe unlock playing your best football at 38. What are some of those things, and why do you think you've been able to do this?
I mean, some of it's mental, some of it's the physical, but I just think experience at the position of quarterback is so important. And my experience has been a lot different than other guys that have played as long as I have in the league. I've just been in so many different systems. I've thrown to so many different receivers. But I've learned a lot about myself over the years, and my throwing motion has maybe changed a little bit, not much. It's not like my arms gotten any stronger, but the feel for the game, being able to communicate with my teammates, and then just knowing myself and knowing when I'm need to pull in the reins a little bit and when I need to let it rip. Those are just things I've really learned over the last few years, especially, that have helped me out a lot.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder, coming into this style of offense, I guess, what are your past experiences, if you've had one, in being in the Air Coryell kind of base scheme? What do you think what do you like about that, or what do you think that allows you to do?
Well, I'm actually about to sit down with Scott in a little bit here, and I think part of it in the NFL in general right now, everything is going to be fit and tapered and designed to the players that you have, and I think they're really excited with some of the talent that they're bringing in and some of the guys that they've had, and so I'll sit down with him and talk and just express, and we've had a conversation on the phone, but things that I think I'm really good at, things that I'm not so good at, and just kind of mold the offense around the different skill position players we have and go from there. But from what I've heard about Scott, he's great to work with. He's definitely has a base in terms of the offense that he wants to run, and then he's going to play to his players' strengths. And I think that's the ability to kind of shift and mold an offense and cater it to the strengths of the players. I think that's really important as an offensive coordinator, and I'm looking forward to working with him.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, John Kime, ESPN. When did you feel like you really started to figure out, and what sort of things were happening on the field because of it?
I think, when I look at my career, I think 2014, when I got with Bill O'Brien in Houston and George Godsey as my quarterback coach, that was a turning point in my career, and they helped me see the game in a different way. And since then, I just feel like I've become a much better player. 2016 was a rough year for me for a lot of different reasons, but from 14 on, I just feel like I've gotten better every single year, and had a chance to learn in a couple different offenses from a couple different coordinators and coaches, and I just continue to incorporate things that I like about different offenses and things that I've grown to like about myself into my playing experience every year, and it's really helped me.
And is it hard, knowing that and feeling like you are where you're at, is it hard to have to keep changing teams and systems to kind of, to be, what I mean? Like to have to get back up to that point where you can do what you want to do?
Because it's me. I mean, that's part of my story. Part of my story is, skipping around to different teams and, just trying to instill belief and trying to just show that passion to these guys. And, in Miami, it was getting some guys that maybe didn't believe in themselves before to believe in themselves, to know that they're good players. And those are the things that I love as a quarterback, being able to do. So I'm really excited. Every time I go to a new place, it's just a new opportunity. It's just a new adventure, a new journey for me. And I kind of get to reinvent myself every year on a new team, and I have to prove myself again. I have to earn the respect of the guys. And so those are the things that get me really excited about this game. And for this opportunity in particular, it's the same thing it's been my whole career. I'm going to have to go out there. I'm going to have to earn it. I'm going to have to earn guys' respect by the way that I play, by the way that I prepare, by the way that I present myself every single day. And I'm looking forward to doing that.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, it's Steve Finley with NBC Sports. I wanted to ask you, when you were approaching free agency, you had a lot of options, I'm guessing, and you've been a lot of places. How did Washington stand out as a landing spot for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to my dad about it the other day. I mean, it was interesting that in year 17, I mean, this was the most sought after I had been in my whole career with all this free agency stuff. I think part of it was just the way it went the last 2 years. adversity that we fought through as a team and the things that, we were able to do to turn it around in Miami. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I just think moving around so much, there's different things that you see from organizations that you like and you don't like, and you try to carry them with you.
And then I know you said you're about to go talk with Scott, but I'm guessing you've looked at the roster, you've watched some game film, whatever it is. What do you think of the offense you're going into and some of the players you're going to be, throwing the ball to?
Well, I've been getting the scouting report from my kids on Madden. They've been and telling me about all the guys. So, I'm excited to dive into it. And, I've definitely watched some highlights and some things of different guys, but being able to dive into the film and actually being able to get together with some of these guys. And, sometimes I'll, not to the media, but in my mind, try to, put them in certain categories and maybe compare them to guys that I've thrown to in the past. And that seems to be something that's helped me, jumpstart or maybe even fast forward a relationship with a certain guy, a connection on the field.
I think with Rivers retiring, you're now the leader in quarterback kids across the NFL.
Yeah, he kept having them. I mean, when he got to 9, I just sent him a text and said, "Look, I'm never going to catch you if you keep having these kids." But yeah, I think we might have taken the title.
Congrats. Thank you. Welcome to DC.
What's up, Ryan? Yeah, congrats on that prestigious title. When people watch you, they say that your arm is as alive as it's ever been. I'm just wondering, how is that possible? Is that just a gift you've had from day one? Are you doing things to keep your arm in such good shape? How are you pulling that off when you're approaching 40?
I don't. It's never been about arm strength for me. I think I've always had a very average arm. It's just timing and anticipation are big things, and some of the secret for me is rest and making sure that I take some time off in the off season before I jump back into it. But it's never really been about the big arm for me. And so my arm is as strong as it's ever been, but those aren't the things that are going to jump out. It's more the timing, the anticipation, getting us in the right play. And those things have really developed as my career has gone on.
And you mentioned how you're familiarizing yourself with the offense, but on the other side of the ball, what's it like knowing you're going to be able to play on a team with guys like Chase Young and Montez Sweat and just a Jack Del Rio-led defense also helping you?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, I've played against some of these guys, the last few years, and especially up front when you can generate pressure with the front four. I mean, that makes it really difficult on the opposing team. So, I'm excited just to get in and meet some of these guys, and it's going to be a process, and we'll see what happens here with the off season and what we're going to be able to do and not do. But it's all about continuing to build on what was happening here last year and the camaraderie and bringing the team together for an even better result this year.
Hi, Ryan. Welcome to DC. Rhiannon Walker with The Athletic. You mentioned the timing and the anticipation as a part of the big elements in your game, and that's something that you can kind of see with Scott Turner's offense. What are some of the things that people can expect with you playing in this offense, or what are some things that you expect this offense to be able to do when you were thinking about signing here, just some of the visions you may have had for the future?
Well, I think, my style of play, I'm going to give my guys chances. I am not a guy that's going to sit there and be afraid to throw the ball down the field. I'm going to try to make the right plays, but if I've got a chance and I believe in my guy one-on-one, I'm going to give him a chance. And I think, guys like playing with me because of that. I'm able to instill confidence in guys because I give them those opportunities. And just kind of playing with that absence of fear, I think goes a long way. And, it's one of the reasons I still play too, is I love doing it. I love giving guys chances, and that style of play at quarterback is going away a little bit.
And then my follow-up is you worked with Kins and Peasy when you were both in Cincinnati in 2007, 2008. And I was actually just curious, what were, outside of, the fact that Washington is a team on the rise, as you said, a team that just made the playoffs, what are some other factors that may have factored in? I don't know, did Kins and Peasy being here possibly help with the decision, or like, was there any conversation between the two of you all?
Yeah, actually, just saw him before I walked in here, and we've been friends for a long time. We've kept up. I mean, he's one of the first coaches that I had that really taught me about X's and O's. I learned so much from him in the 2 years that I was in Cincinnati. So I'm excited to reunite with him. But it's just this opportunity, I think, is a great opportunity, and it's one where I've got a chance to be out there on the field playing, and that was the biggest thing that I wanted.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it, and welcome again.
To build on that a little bit, what assurances did you want as far as getting to compete for the starting job or be the starter here?
Just a chance. I mean, that's all I've asked for my whole career. I just want a chance to, have the opportunity to compete. And, I've probably have too much confidence in myself, but that's just something that I've always had, and something that's been a huge advantage for me that's allowed me to stick around for as long as I have. Is I have the ultimate belief in myself, and I feel like whatever situation I'm put in, if I have a chance to compete, that's all I want. And so I'm excited for the opportunity.
And I do want to ask, because I have 2 kids in virtual school and it's a mess. How do you deal with 7 kids in virtual school?
Well, we've been in Tampa and they've been in school, which has been a blessing for us. It's, everything has been smooth all year round, all year long. And the virtual school last year, March, April, May, was interesting. We had to buy a few more computers, and I became a math tutor for a while there, but it was a good refresher for me, not just in 7th, but in 5th, 3rd, and 1st grade math. So
appreciate it.
Hey Ryan, this is Matt Paris from the Washington Times. Just curious on what is your drive like to make the playoffs? You've been close a couple of times. You haven't gotten there, but just, this is a team that was obviously there last year too, just helping them kind of keep taking a step forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it would be awesome. I would absolutely love to do it. I think there's other things that are extremely important for me in terms of team building and making sure that this thing continues to head in the right direction, and a byproduct of kind of some of those other goals I have, I think would definitely lead to the playoffs.
And you were very close last year in Miami, and then, you caught COVID right at the end there. Just what was that experience like? Just kind of having that maybe taken away from you, or
it was tough. I mean, because it was, the ultimate high of Week 16 coming in against the Raiders, and having the end of the game come back, and then figuring out and finding out 3 days later that I had COVID. I mean, it went from the ultimate high to the ultimate low. Sitting in a room quarantined for 10 days and missing my son's birthday, and it was a tough 2 weeks there. But just like everybody else in the country, we've done our best to try to manage it and to stay safe. And I know that my situation, it was tough, but there's a lot of people that have had a lot worse things. So I'm glad that part of it is over. None of my family got it besides me, and that was probably the one positive of them being in Tampa last year and me being in Miami. But that was the ultimate high and the ultimate low for me back-to-back weeks.
Hi, Ryan. Nikki Javala with the Washington Post. Just going off of what John Keim asked you earlier, what is your approach when you start over with a new team? How do you go about getting acclimated to, new playbook, new teammates, et cetera?
I mean, the first thing is just making sure that I'm myself. I'm not going to try to recreate myself. I'm not going to try to become some character of what people think I am. I'm going to be 100% authentic in myself. I want to sit down in the meal room and get to know guys, whether it's coaches or players. And I think that stuff, off the field goes a long way. Now with COVID, it makes it more challenging. You don't really get as much time together inside the building. And so we'll see, as that goes on. But a lot of it is just getting to know guys and, making sure that they know I'm here and I'm trying to earn their respect and I'm working hard every single day. And that formula for me is worked pretty much everywhere I've been.
Just a quick follow-up. Have you heard from any of your new teammates so far? And kind of what do you think of your new receiving core there with Terry and Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, I've gotten some texts from guys after the news broke that I was signing here, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get started. I think every time you go to a new place, it's a fresh start. Again, it's earning everybody's respect. It's everybody trying to do their best to, show me who they are, and I'll do the same with them. So I'm excited for the opportunity.
We're running short on time here. We got time for 3 or 4 more.
Hey, Ryan, Ben Standig with The Athletic. You said this was the most sought after you've ever been in free agency. I'm just sort of wondering if you could sort of take us through kind of what was going on. What were some of the other options alongside Washington?
Wouldn't you like to know? No, I'll just say that John Clayton, when he put out the rumor that I was retiring, is not a very reliable source.
Okay. Were there other opportunities at least to be a starter, or was this one that kind of stood out to you from that perspective?
Yeah, it was definitely, that was the number one thing that I was looking for was a chance to play. And so this was a great opportunity. I felt like, not just for that, but the general direction of the team.
We'll go Steve Wino, Les, and then we'll end with David Aldridge.
Hey, Ryan, Steve Weiner from the AP here. 9 teams now, I believe, for you. How much of a point of pride is that now? I guess all your kids, you and your wife, can each have a jersey of a different team. How much of a point of pride is it to have that many teams on your list now?
Yeah, in a weird way, it's definitely a point of pride for me, and just to be able to last as long as I have, and to take the windy road that got me to here. I've had a great time in each city I've been to, and my wife, she puts it best. Every city we go to is just a new adventure, not just for me playing, but for our kids, for going to new schools and meeting new people. And, that's the way we've always approached it. And it's been a great approach for us and a good life lesson for our kids.
I'll give it a shot following up on Ben's question. Can you say how many teams you talked to at least?
More than 3.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Ryan, Les Carpenter at the Washington Post. I guess following up a little bit about what was just asked a second ago, what is this day like for you? You've had it now at several different places, the first day of work at this. What is that like to go through? What is it? I guess you're getting used to it, but what is it?
Yeah, this day I'm just kind of getting pulled in different directions with, media and signing the contract and meeting coaches in the building. But the first day when players are here, I talked to my kids about it the other day. It's just like the first day of school when you're the new kid and you show up and it just feels weird. You don't know anybody and you've got to try to make friends and everybody's staring at you. That's what I tell them. Like I'm going through what you're going through, and there's probably some guys on the roster. There are some guys on the roster that I already know, so it won't exactly be that, but it's a weird feeling when you walk into a new city and a new school and you don't know anybody, and where are you going to sit at the lunch table? You go through the same thing. But I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to know new people.
Is it a nervous drive up to the facility, or is it, is it exciting every time you do it? Or
well, it's both, but is the guard going to recognize me? Is he not? Is he going to think I'm Conor McGregor? Is he going to think I'm one of the fantasy guys? Like, sometimes they let you in, sometimes they don't. Then you got to call somebody else and say, I'm at the front gate. You look nervous a little bit, but once they let you in past the gates, then you don't know where you're going, and you go from there.
You don't have McGregor tattoos, so.
With David Aldridge.
Hey, Ryan, welcome to DC. We're often, on the outside, we kind of have this vision of a quarterback as somebody like Peyton Manning, who's in one place. We're always told continuity is everything. And if you have the same receiver, same line, same OC, guys come to, they work out with each other in the off season, so you know exactly where the guy's going to be. That's not your career at all. And I just wonder when you made your peace with that, to just say, hey, that's not going to be my path in this league.
I mean, I've just had to scratch and claw for every opportunity I've ever received. I mean, even, not really being recruited coming out of high school. So I probably came to terms with that after Buffalo. I was there for 4 years. After I left Buffalo, jumping to Tennessee and Houston, I just think I came to terms with the fact that my career was going to be a lot different than other guys. And I learned to embrace that. I learned to embrace the challenge of going from team to team and trying to get up to speed as fast as possible. And it's something that I take a lot of pride in. I mean, for the guys that have been in one place for the whole career, and the timing and the comfortability and all that, I take a lot of pride in being able to do what I do and be successful jumping around from team to team.
Is there still a notion of okay, last team that didn't re-sign me or let me go, I'll show you? Is there still that part of it in there?
Not really. I mean, we always joke, especially being in the AFC East last year, oh, this is a revenge game. I mean, every week is a revenge game for me because I play on every dang team in the NFL. So that stuff has gone away. It's definitely gone away.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.